Joining me now, Republican strategist and host of the 13-minute news hour, Bobby Eberle. Bobby, let's begin at the beginning. I'm sorry, I can't quite let this go. We had 13 American warriors incinerated by ISIS. The Biden regime, supposedly in response to this, drone striked a family of 10, including adorable young children. And then everybody just kind of moved on. And I should mention, once they drone strike the family of 10, they initially put out this public thing, hey, we killed some ISIS guys. We got them. And It was an aid worker. Bobby, that's a war crime.
Yes, and that's the thing, Jesse. I am as fired up as you are about this because, look, we had 13 Americans killed there because of Joe Biden's incompetence. So you kind of knew that he was going to do something that something would make the news to try and deflect from what he was doing. And sure enough, they had the drone strike, but just like you said, they announced that they had senior ISIS-K people killed. You know, they had one or two of them that were killed in this raid. So wow, the media was great. We're just going to move on from Afghanistan. It turned out none of that was true. This wasn't this, fog of war collateral damage. He specifically said that we killed ISIS-K people. Instead, it's this huge family, including this aid worker that has supported the U.S. for years, and we're just supposed to forget about it? Someone messed up in a bad way, and not only that, but then Biden covered it up and said we got ISIS-K members. That's wrong right there. That is totally wrong, and no one's come forward and done anything about it.
No one has done anything about it, Bobby. And I have to tell you, look, the fallout from General Milley makes it pretty obvious no one's ever going to do anything about anything in this administration. Scandal after scandal after scandal with the border in Afghanistan and the mandates and Milley with the committing high treason. And even today, Psaki already came out and said, no, it's fine. He did fine. And it's leading to this simmering anger that there's never anyone accountable.
Well, right. I mean, you've seen Milley. The only time he's in the news that he actually makes it in the news is if he's pushing some kind of woke agenda, some kind of woke program in the military, critical race theory or some kind of diversity training, not getting the best people in the best training for the best fighting force in the entire world. No, he's concerned about the left-wing agenda. But now we learn about these phone calls to his counterpart in China saying, I'm going to warn you if Trump goes rogue or something and plans to attack China, which, attacking China, give me a break. But these phone calls amount to treason. He violated the chain of command. He violated the Constitution, and someone needs to be called to account. He needs to be tried. I don't like this idea of just resigning. He needs to face charges and go to jail.
He does need to face charges, and I'm not naive enough to think he's going to. I didn't think he was yesterday, and clearly we already see that today. But Bobby, my question overall is this. Because I've been pondering this. I've been texting friends I trust about it today, trying to figure this out. The rot is deep, and it's at the top of virtually all of our government institutions, top to bottom through most of them. So let's just assume we do get another Republican president one day, Lord willing. That Republican president is going to, just like Donald Trump was, be shackled and kneecapped by his own government every step of the way, unless he walks in and on day one fires people like nobody's ever seen before. Just absolutely wipes out every federal agency he possibly can. But then he'll be impeached if he does that. So that gives us, what do we do in this situation?
Well, exactly. And you know that the left are hoping that, this cycle around that we go back to the old days, of getting a Mitt Romney or a John McCain or something like that. We had President Trump and he went after the swamp. That was one of the things he talked about. That was one of the things he started doing. But man, I love your approach. You got to do this from day one. You got to say, hey, we're setting this tone. You guys are all going, because I tell you what, whether it's appointed people or career bureaucrats in these departments, when the American people say we want to go a different direction, a Trump administration, that means that they are saying, hey, put up your cabinet the way you want, run your departments the way you want, and clean house. That's what, if the American people don't like it, 4 years later, they vote again. But we need that Republican in there to actually drain the swamp and not just be a placeholder.
Bobby, you're a Republican strategist, and I see a problem out there, and I'm hoping the trend I'm seeing is not going to continue. there is a feeling amongst a huge portion of Republicans, actually a big portion of independents as well, that the last election had a lot of fraud in it. There's a feeling that the next one will as well. Now, I don't care what people believe about that or not. The truth is, it is causing Republicans, a lot of them, at least according to the trends I'm looking at, to stay home. I hear it a lot. My vote doesn't matter anyway. And we're never going to win if that is the attitude out there. How in the world do we overcome that? Because we're toast if people continue to do that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things on that, because remember, we can talk about the election results all we want, and was there fraud or what level of fraud that we have. But even going into the election, you had all these bogus polls. Remember Wisconsin, primary poll, I think ABC News, saying that Trump was going to lose by 17 points, and it was razor thin. Right there, to your point, depresses the Republican turnout. People don't want to turn out if they know in advance their guy is going to lose. Now we see this, and they think, why should I even vote? Because it's stacked against us. The only thing that we can do is go state by state, like we're doing in Arizona, Pennsylvania, other states, and do these forensic audits to see where the problems were and correct them. Otherwise, no one's going to have faith in all of this. And then, of course, through ballot changes and election changes, like we did in Texas, like they've done in Florida and other states, requiring voter ID, get rid of this mass mail-out stuff where people they get a ballot when they don't even request it. That's just waiting for fraud. We need to get rid of that. We are changing this, but there's so much to do. And I think state-by-state audits will go a long way to correcting the problem and restoring some confidence in those people that you mentioned that don't want to vote, because if they don't, we're done.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.